Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel Hipshan Abhijit Mulik. Today's date is uh, 1st of October 2021 and today's discussion topic is discussion about the interfaces. Now firstly, before seeing the interfaces, firstly I will introduce myself. My name is Abhijit Dattatre Mulik. I am from Kalam district Usmanabad. I had completed my graduation in mechanical engineering from GH Raisoni College of Engineering and Management, Wagholi, Pune, and also completed my diploma in mechanical engineering from Sweris College of Engineering and Polytechnic, Pandharpur. That's all about me. Now, I will discuss about the topic that is interfaces. Actually, interfaces. If we talk about the definition of the interfaces, interfaces is a interfaces is one type of method which if which in interfaces there is method present which is an abstract type of method which that method will be implemented in the classes according to our applications. Firstly we will see the abstract methods. If we talk about the abstraction, firstly I will see the example, real life example of the abstraction. If we talk about the car, in a car we will use we know the uses of the gears and then a clutch and then accelerator like that, but in backward how it works the company don't tell us. That's if we compare that with abstraction, then uh, we will compare that application with an abstraction. If we talk about an interfaces, in interfaces all the methods present in an interface is must be an abstract method, and it is by default public abstract method. And if we implement that method in an class then that method should be for that method should must use that access modifier as a public. That's all about the implementation of the interface. Suppose in an interface there are two methods present, that is void display 1 and void display 2. If we not given that access modifier as a public for that method, but compiler by default uses it as a public abstract. That's all about the interfaces. Now we will see how we how we will implement that methods in an abstract classes. So after that implementing that all the method in a class, that must use the keyword implement if we override that methods in a class. And that overridden method, for that overridden method we must use the public access modifier. That's all about it. In an interfaces if we use variable, then that variable must be public static final. If you not use the any access modifier for that, but by default compiler will use that public static final. And if we not uses and public abstract for method, then compiler by default uses it as a public abstract. That's about the methods, and that's all about the methods and variables used in interfaces. Now if we compare that interfaces with an abstract classes, then in an interfaces we can achieve the multiple inheritance. And if we talk about methods, then in an interface after Java 8 we can use interface in interface, that is static and default method also, and after Java 9 we can use private methods also in an interfaces. That's about the methods using in an interfaces. If we talk about a real life example of an interfaces, if one is client and one is developer, client tells the requirement to developer what input and what output must be used in an software, and developer will consider that input and output, and then it will develop on one software according to the client and give it to the client. That's the one example of that interfaces. So in if you compare if you compare interface with an abstract classes, in abstract classes the methods present must be maybe of any abstract method or non-abstract method, but in interface the method present is only and only abstract method. That's about the interfaces. And if you talk about the implementation of the interfaces. The class will implement the interfaces, but interface will extend to the interface. That's the implementation or extension of that interfaces. That's all about the interfaces. Now we will see the one example of an interfaces. Suppose if we declare a class A in which that two methods are there, that is void input and void output. If now we will see one example, that is interface A in which that two methods are there, void input 1 and void output, and then that method will be implemented in a class A implements interface, that's interface, and then we will create the body of an method which are declared in interface, that in that the method has no body because that is an abstract method. Then we will use that abstract methods in a class which is method is implemented in it. Then we will provide the body for the input method and for output method also, and we will gain the required input and output through that implemented class. That's all about the interface. Thank you.